We want to start off in what will perhaps go down historically as one of the most dramatic security breaches in the country. The siege that saw Deputy President William Ruto's rural home turned into gun battle ended after 18 hours. NTVs investigative editor Dennis Okari is in the newsroom right now. Dennis, what exactly happened here? A lot of people have a lot of questions.
Well, so much happened in the last 18 hours, but what eventually happened is that the attacker was killed in the wee hours of Sunday morning, and then unfortunately we lost a GSU officer, and another one got serious injuries from the machete attack at the gate, but was later released from hospital. And so far, the Inspector General of Police, Joseph Boynet, has said that they've initiated investigations into this incident, and that they're perhaps wanting to move close to finding out the identity of this attacker and what was his motive. I've managed to piece together the events at the Deputy President's home in Sugoi, Uasin Gishu County, rather. No one expected the siege to extend till the wee hours of Sunday morning in a dramatic display of defiance by a lone gunman. 18 hours, ground and air cover, a contingent of security personnel drawn from the regular police, administration police, GSU, including their elite squad Recce company, was not enough to bring him down. His weapon of choice, a machete, that disarmed the GSU officer, seriously injuring him before making his way into the compound and killing another officer in his rampage.
Having accessed where he was hiding, we found the body of the officer who had gone missing, having been killed by that intruder.
The siege that started at 12 p.m. ended a few minutes before 5 a.m. Sporadic gunfire through the night culminated into two loud bangs before the siege finally ended.
Several attempts were made to access where that intruder was, but at any attempt, he fired at the officers attempting to approach where he was hiding, and therefore it required the use of an APC to give the officers cover.
The attack inside the home of the country's second-in-command bore the hallmarks of an intruder, perhaps not in his right mind in the initial report, but things quickly escalated. Security chiefs set off with conflicting statements of 3 attackers, then 1. No officer in the compound knew how many attackers were there.
After the operation, we discovered it was only one lone gangster. But because he was inside there, so he could camouflage his position, change positions, change the gun, because he had accessibility to the gun. And the gun he was using are our guns. They are not his. He didn't have a gun. So when you shoot using one caliber and you change and shoot with another caliber, anybody will assume that you are 2 or 3 people. And that is why he managed to keep us for all this time. But finally, when we discovered his trick, then we quickly put that off.
How a hawker managed to bait the security detail of the home of the Deputy President and find his way into hiding and hold out against trained security officers is not yet clear. The Inspector General of Police, Joseph Boynet, in his initial statement a few hours after the incident said the man hit an officer on duty several times with a machete and managed to enter the farm complex. Other officers were quickly mobilized and the intruder was forced to hide at a building that was still under construction next to the gate. Security analysts say that provides a perfect vantage point to neutralize any threat within minutes, but that was not the case here.
There are 2 gates in this property belong to His Excellency the Deputy President. There is the outer gate and the inner gate that lead to his residence. It is the inner gate that leads to his residence that was under tight security and was not breached at all.
A source has told NTV that the man entered the DP's residence and passed through the staff quarters next to a building under construction, 50 meters from the main house. The man entered a police armory, which also acts as a changing room for the police, from where he took guns and started shooting aimlessly. By the time the Recce company and the assault team arrived at 2:30 p.m. to plan the room entry, there was no sufficient information on how many workers were around, how many guns and how much ammunition was in the armory, and the blueprint of the compound. According to one officer, no one was providing this information. This made it difficult for security officers to move and do anything. The gunman was hiding in a room that had police uniforms and the man wore GSU combat gear and continued shooting into early Sunday morning, changing firearms at will. Not even an armored personnel carrier APC that was brought in as reinforcement could smoke him out. Instead, he shot one of the tires as it moved into the compound. An officer who was at the scene has told NTV the man was killed after he voluntarily walked out of the room around 5 a.m. There was no exchange of fire.